Hi, and we're back with our next session and our next speaker. Kasam is joining us again, and he has a very creative title. His talk is called Promptastic Talk with LLMs from Words to Wonders. That sounds really good. Hi, Kasam. Welcome back.
Hi, Suzuki.
Hi.
How are you?
Are you ready? I don't want to take
Yes, yes.
much of your time, so are you
Yeah.
ready for your session?
Yes, very much.
Okay,
Should I
then
start sharing my screen?
yes, please. Over to
Actually,
you.
I was just wondering. I just saw it is only for 30 minutes and I have a lot of slides with me. So
Okay.
let me share quickly and mm,
Okay, good luck.
yeah. Should I start?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so welcome everyone. So this is, as you know, the topic is about the Promptastic talks with LLMs. Okay, so it's all about how you talk with your large language models, and it's not about I'm talking about the, building a kind of hello world application, but it's all about building some complex application based on the LLMs. To start with, myself, I'm Kasam Shaikh. I'm an Microsoft MVP in AI, a senior architect and Gen AI SME with Capgemini. And these are my credentials. Um, to start with, as I talk about the building LLMs. Okay, so basically, this is a very high level flow, or you can say, an high level. Diagram where we can see how this actually works when like it's all about your application backend and it's all about the LLMs or the foundation LLMs or the models behind the scene which your application talks based on APIs. So the request is being sent to in the APIs and you get the response from the LLMs as such. Okay, so it's on very high level. I'm not going into bit technical, so that's the reason it's just to give you a quick overview of it. So these are basically some of the emerging models which we I've just listed it down. Of course, there are many models in place. Okay, so I've just listed few with highlighting few of the makers of these models, uh, be it Microsoft or Google, OpenAI, Meta. Okay, so there are and this all models are coming up with they are with different capabilities like if you are uh, um, good with the text generations, the content generations kind of. If you are experts or if you are very trained, highly trained for image generations, there are few multimodal models which helps in accepting or uh, generating the images text in an input and output format and many more. Like there are many models which are being open source available for using as a part of your application. And as you can go into the Azure AI Studio, you will get uh, a long list of all this open source models which you can use as a part of Azure. Of course, there are many other models too, but I'm just saying about all the, if you want to list or if you want to see all the list of all this exciting models. So one thing remains common when we use any of these models in your application, be it, for the example, just consider Mid Journey bot. Okay, giving plain English instructions uh, for creating an kind of image, be it an M365 Copilot. You want to write down a kind of draft of what meeting happened last week and the minutes of meeting kind of. Same goes to Copilot, GitHub Copilots. When you need to create some web pages, you need to create some diagrams or so. And of course, the chat GPT service, I'm talking about service, not model, but it's like whatever you want to get from the model, it's all about uh, it comes as an a natural text, a common normal English. So one thing that is common for all the models is prompts. Okay, so we can say the English language is the talking language, rather the English language is now a new programming languages. Okay, so it's like about talking with the models in a very plain stuff, very plain instructions, very plain a normal conversation which we do in that manner, which is known as prompts. Okay, now what is prompt engineering? So prompt engineering, basically it's a process of there are many definitions of prompt engineering available. So I've just tried to you know pen it down, uh, which I like the most, kind of. uh, it's a process of designing. It's a process of writing something from scratch, um, designing the thing, designing something which you need as an output, as a desirable output. It's about refining. You have to change, you have to keep giving the iterations of your prompt, if of your input, again and again, till you get your desired output, and optimizing, of course, like to the best of the forms of input which can give to the models for getting an accurate output. When we say about accurate output, is it what we are desiring, what your use case is all about, what your requirement is all about, keeping in mind the cost efficiency. So when I started my talk with, right, that it's not about the hello world application, but it's all about a kind of building an LLM application with a few complex scenarios. So of course, when you design, when you have your solution in place, cost is a very important factor. And when it's come to prompt engineering, okay, it's all about engineerizing your prompt to make it efficient right from the scratch, keeping it refining with the best optimized way to get your desired output. So that's all I think about prompt engineering, what prompt engineering is all about. So there are many buzz definitions, and I'm not saying that they are all wrong or so, but this is what I find when I actually work as a kind of when I work with the applications and when I use the prompts. This is the most uh, nearest way I can see about the prompts. Okay. Now let's talk about prompt anatomy. So I know I'm a bit fast, but I'm sorry, because it's like we have a very uh, less time frame, and we have many exciting speakers and talks and lined up. So just wanted to cover up as much as I can. So let's talk about the prompt anatomy. So it's nothing but it's a kind of uh, the way you give instructions, or way you talk to the LLMs, as we said. Okay, now what happens is, just consider these examples. Okay, just clean and clear instructions. So these are the things you need to always take care while you're trying, or when you're putting in as in kind of input to your models. So for example, write a product launch email for a new headphone. So this is an instruction, like it has an the we need to write a launch email, and it's all about new headphones. Now all these instructions are backed, you can back it by kind of input data, the primary data. So what the data is all about? It's all about the product, that the product is an AI powered product, and so price. So it's a kind of input for the above instruction which was given in. Now the secondary data could be the context of it, like what could be the tone, whether it could be a friendly tone, or you know in a very professional tone, or in a kind of exciting tone, sort of. Next comes in target format, which is again a very important stuff. Like, tell the model what you want as an output for that, as an format for that. Like it could be a JSON, it could be an HTML tag, it could be a tabular format, um, anything. So give the model, or give the model ask the model to give the target as in target format, like what format they are looking out for. Okay, so here it is like output as a JSON object with subject and body, and along with an example, of course, like that will really help. Like as we see in the further slides, there are some examples of the way we can use prompts. So it's like giving the example, like you have already said that it could be a JSON object, and with subject and body fields, and here is the example, like this could be the subject, this is a this could be the body. So it will not read what you're writing as a subject and in the into the subject and into the body, but it will see how the format is, how this example is all about. And of course you can end it up with q, giving a q. So q is basically you just give a start to your uh, output for your the start of your output to the models. Like for example, if you consider about this, write a product launch email for new headphones, so you can just mention a quick queue like this amazing product dot dot dot, that's it. So it's a kind of the response you will get as an output based on all the above parts, like above, based on all the instructions, the input data, the context and examples. It will start with that, this amazing product. So it's kind of a queue, it's just give a start to your or a way for your outputs. Okay. um, Tokens. So the earlier slide, that was how we see the input to the LLM models as a plain English, right? And tokens is something which is being seen by LLMs to your prompts. Okay, LLMs, large language models, see the prompts which you are given as an input in the form of tokens. Okay, now I don't want to get more into tokens because it is more data science part, and a data science expert can provide more justice to it. But as a part of this talk, we can consider like 4 characters is equal to 1 token. So okay, and a disclaimer: this I'm talking about OpenAI models, Azure OpenAI models. It's not all the available models or all the LLMs behaves in the same way when it comes to tokens. But when I talk about specifically for OpenAI or Azure OpenAI models, this is where we can, how we can look into like how the model is looking to our prompt. So you can see there are some words which is taken as one prompt, like for example, headphones, whereas there are some words which are taken as 2 prompts. For example, introducing. Okay, so the more the words or the keywords are familiar to the models, the more the way it tokenizes uh, that particular characters or words. Okay. Um, Now, why this is important? Why this tokenization or to understand this token is important? As we say, when we talk about or when we talk with the LLMs in the form of APIs, the costing which is based or the costing happens not on the calls, the number of calls, but it all depends upon the number of tokens which are sent and the number of tokens which are received as a response. Okay, so the number of tokens, the tokens here plays a very important role in your costing. So as we saw about the prompt engineering definition, you remember the end line, the cost efficient way. Okay, so this is one of the things which we need to remember about the token. So what you can do here is like as a part of your payload. One second, guys, please. Excuse me. Please. Sorry. So what you can do here is as a part of your payload or if of part of your prompts as an input, you can say you can have that you know uh, a hard stop for your output, like it should be kind of only 100 tokens or 100, no, not 100, 1000 tokens. Of course all based upon what your use case is and what your requirement is, but it is good to have a hard stop when getting the responses, just to make sure how these things are, just to save your some few cost while talking to this. Because of course in a chat like application, what happens, you um, send the entire context of the earlier conversations also. Okay, and that also plays a role, like how you make your prompts more in an optimized way so that it is best to in the like producing the results or producing the outputs, and with a lesser cost or with the best optimal input. Now, there are few model selection strategy. So it's like uh, these strategies are not kind of thumb rules sort of like you need to follow or kind of, but it is few of the things which are a part of we have used it and we have seen that it works. So one, it's all about starting with the uh, highest or heaviest model we can say, and try to make your output as whatever you want, the desirable one. Once you get the output, try to switch it with the lower versions of the models and see if you get the same output with the same prompt or making a few tweaks to that prompt, and whether you are getting the same output kind of. And this is the way you can come down, or you can select the best model for your output. Like it's not always the highest model or the heaviest models will give you the best output. It's all depends upon what you want as your as a part of your use cases. So this is one of the uh, uh, way or one of the strategy you can use for selecting your models. There are many strategies you may come across in the different talks. This is not like I don't want to cover everything, like it's an altogether different topics, but it's in just an high level touch base, like how what all things you can do. And as you can see about the contexts, right, in the on the screen, about different models have that particular different range. So at some point of time you may hit this yeah, this number of tokens as a part of your inputs. So as I talked about the chat application where you need to send all the entire conversation back conversation as a part of your input, you will definitely hit this uh, what we say, the threshold or the target for that particular models which it accept as a part of the request. So it is not always possible to give millions of tokens as a part of your request, though you are ready to pay, but that is not possible. So you have to build, you have to see, you have to use you have to combine different models when you are trying to have it in a kind of in a prompt chaining. We'll talk about prompt chaining in the further slides. Space efficiency. So this is one of the important point you need to very much mindful when writing the prompts about the spaces. Okay, the white spaces. This white spaces are always being used as an token along with the next word which is coming in. As you can see in the image which I have shown about the dates. Okay, so it is not necessary the length of the prompt depends upon like decides whether the bigger the length of prompt, larger the tokens. No, it's not that case. So you need to be very mindful using writing the while using this. And there are many websites which are available which can explain this token. So one is being um, given by OpenAI itself. So you can go to the OpenAI website and just have that tokenizers where you can play with this. Like you can just give the inputs and it shows how the tokens are being taken care or how that is being calculated kind of. So coming back to this space. So the best stuff, the best steps what we can use here is to have get the have it in a tabular format, the data which is being it, that is very much space efficient. So it is like if you see the just to see the example of the dates. Okay, the shortest no short the date with the shortest length, that is 30-11-2022. It is the most number of, it is taking the most number of tokens, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Okay, and the top one, that is November 30 2022, it is taking only 3 tokens. So that this is how this space or this is how this token can vary according to what inputs you are putting up. Now, of course, your language make difference. So whatever language or whatever formats you are trying, try with different formats, see how this token works. Okay, and then try to have it in as a part of your prompts so that it will again make you a very wondrous results. Just a general recommendation, very be specific with what you want when you're trying to write a prompt. It is not always like I understand when using some chat GPT service or other services, we just try to write down whatever we comes to our mind, and we see the results coming in, just try to change it. But that is not the case when it comes to your application building, right? You need to be very specific while putting as an input, because it all depends on how the cost is, what the desirable results will be. So that is what, try to be very much specific when you're using or when you're writing, providing any inputs. Order matters, not always, but yes, like it's not like you need to first give the instructions, then provide the input data, then have it a kind of context, an example. No, just try to, change the order, see from where it comes, where the output, how the output changes, or where you get the most nearest the required output as a part of your output responses. Try to make that orders. Okay, try to be in that, and that is all about prompt engineering, right? It is just about refining the thing, iterative things, repeating the thing, experimenting the things. Okay, give the model what output you want. As we saw, like you if you want a kind of JSON, or you want HTML, try to give that output. So it is better, it is always good to give what format you want from your models, so to be very much specific and nearest to your uh, output results. These are some of the technical recommendations. Um, it will be a kind of repetitive stuff. I think I'm very much near to the. I just have few minutes, so it's like uh, just keep in mind, be very much clear in your instructions, and if you can repeat the instructions, have that separators, use that pipelines, tabulars, those formats. Temperature, it is bitten, at some technical parameters we can use, as this models are very stochastic in nature. If every time you get some different output, and it's very much different, so to make this kind of uh, predictive, or kind of to control this kind of responses, you can use this temperature. We can talk about it later, but this is when it comes to a technical stuff, we can use this temperature and the probabilities. Of course, when you are using AI, it's you have to be very much responsible, even if you are using a prompt engineering stuff. Okay, so your grounding, you should always use the positive, your factual statements. You should not, you try to avoid any kind of creative stuff. You have to be very much stick with the factual statement. Your tone should be very positive. Your tone should be in a polite way, in a kind of a professional way, kind of an interesting, in a simple way. It should be, you should make your tone in a very light manner. And of course, the safety and this jailbreaks, like you cannot just go and ask anything. You cannot go and do, because these rules are always same, so you cannot have this part of it. It's not considered as an responsible part if you go against this. So make sure you follow this ethics, you follow this responsibility, AI from in your prompt engineering as well. uh, uh, I still have 5 minutes. These are a few of the things which you can do as a zero shot, few short prompts, where you give an example in your prompts, where you don't give an example. Like if you just see the examples, or on the screen, it is like I've given um, a title, three options, and then we are asking a question without giving any example. So it's a zero shot prompt. It is directly asking what we want. But here it's few short. Okay, we are giving what if the customer questions, what customer questions, and what should be the result, how the result should be. It is in one word only, like two, and that then it's about one. So it's few shots. There is something known as one shot, where we give only one examples. So these are few of the chain of thoughts. Again, when we uh, it's not always, when you give some calculative stuff where we expect a calculative answer, or any of the steps, you can just break down those kind of prompts in your prompts in a step, so that the models behave in the same way. It breaks with them in that steps and give you an accurate results. So you can see here it's in directly the same prompts, but in a different, written in a different way, and the answers are different. Okay, the earlier answer was wrong. Here, when we broke down in the steps, it gives you a correct answer. Again, this is a few shot, the same example which we talked about earlier. Prompt chaining is something using. Um, there are many. It's an the response of your model is not always the response of your first prompt. It could be the response combining your multiple prompts, and wherein this prompt chaining plays an important role. It can also be done with using a single prompt itself, but this is one of the method does which can play a useful role. Like it is a very simple example which is been given. The entities are extracted, then it is being summarized, and then the analysis is being taken care, so that you can understand like how this chaining happens. So it is like getting the results from the first prompt and passing that particular thing to your second prompt as an input. Prompt chunking is something, as I said, about you cannot give a large number of tokens as a part of your request. So here in case, what you can do is you can break down your prompts or break down your inputs in small chunks, which is being in an accepted criteria, and then you can run it parallelly, and then kind of take the entire result sets of all this prompts as a part of one thing, as a one chunk, and then get the desired output for that entire stuff. So here it's a kind of huge text which was broke down into small chunks, and then the entire just the chunks were passed, and the summaries were asked about with along with the topic. Hallucination, you all know about how the things, how the responses comes in, and that is being it's a word of the year for 2023. There are few methods we can reduce this, of course, by saying that if you don't know, just reply with don't know, don't make up some facts, give some step-by-step reasonings. So it's all about following what we just gone through, and we can very much reduce the hallucination behavior of the responding, the model's response. Uh, let's move. Okay, so Langton semantic kernels are one of the libraries. Few libraries we can use for your complex LLM application, LLM based applications, and we already had one session from Arafat. We have next session again with kind of this. We'll be using this Langton and all. So be tuned, stay tuned for that interesting sessions all about the prompt flow. There is the third one, which is again a part of orchestration, all about of your prompts, where you can have your flow, get the things from different area, different sections, and make your prompt more optimized way. But it's very much vast to explain, and we have some sessions on it. Just wanted to give it a touch base. These are few of the learning resources which are part of it, which are free resources, of course, from the Microsoft Learn and other stakes. You can go through it. I will post these links in the chat, and you can, of course, go through this and learn more about prompts and stay connected. Thank you. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to take it.
That's brilliant. Thank you so much, Kasam. Really, really good session. Such a good grounding on prompt engineering. I thought your bit around the space efficiency, amazing. I'd not really actually seen some of that before, so I really appreciate you calling it out. There were some really great examples there. So with that, we will say thank you very much. Please do go and spend some time in the chat and with our great people who are online, but also
Sure.
best of luck with your event. I hope it goes really well.
Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
All right.
Thank
We'll see you in
you.
a little bit.
Bye-bye.
Just a gentle reminder for everyone who's out there, if you are looking to earn one of those amazing attendee badges, make sure you're heading to the globalai.community/conference website, create an account and watch the stream there. It's one of the only ways we can kind of know that you're kind of watching along and stuff like that. So yeah, please do head to globalai.community/conference, create an account, and that's when you can start earning your badges. But thank you if you're joining from anywhere else as well. We love having you. Please ask your questions in the chat. We definitely want to bring your questions to our speakers. And so yeah, keep in touch with us. With that, we'll head to the next session shortly.